Autonomous weapons are now a reality on the battlefield. Drones equipped with lethal decision-making capabilities choose targets without human intervention. This shift in military technology raises urgent ethical questions. What does it mean for humanity when machines, devoid of moral reasoning, are tasked with life and death decisions? The implications extend beyond warfare into international law and civilian safety. Military strategies increasingly rely on algorithms that process data faster than any human can. This allows rapid and precise strikes, but at what cost? Traditional rules of engagement designed to protect civilians become murky as machines take the lead. If a drone misfires and harms civilians, who is to blame? The developer, military commander, or the machine itself? Legal frameworks governing warfare are ill-equipped to address these complexities. As nations accelerate military capabilities, maintaining moral standards while embracing technological advancements becomes critical. How can we ensure that ethical considerations evolve alongside these innovations? Global military powers are racing to develop autonomous weapons, creating a precarious arms race. Nations invest heavily in this technology, believing that advanced autonomous capabilities offer significant advantages in conflict. This arms race threatens to destabilize international relations, escalating tensions and increasing the likelihood of conflict. As machines take on greater roles in warfare, the risk of unintentional escalation becomes a genuine concern. The implications for civilian populations are profound. Autonomous weapons can strike with precision, but can also result in devastating collateral damage. The potential for ethical breaches increases as these systems operate without human oversight. In high-stakes scenarios, the consequences of failure could be catastrophic, highlighting the urgent need for comprehensive regulations. Navigating the moral landscape of autonomous weapons requires diverse perspectives. The rise of these systems challenges established ethical frameworks in warfare and demands urgent global dialogue. Each voice matters as we consider the implications of machines making decisions that once belonged solely to humanity. The development of autonomous weapons has deep historical roots, tracing back to the early 2010s when the integration of artificial intelligence into military technology began to gain momentum. One of the earliest examples was the U.S. military's use of drones for surveillance missions in places like Afghanistan and Iraq. By 2012, these drones began to incorporate advanced algorithms for target recognition, setting the stage for more lethal applications. The shift came into clearer focus in 2016 when the United Nations convened to address these emerging technologies, recognizing that they could redefine the nature of warfare forever. Consider the unsettling scene of a military operations room flooded with screens displaying real-time data from drones hovering thousands of feet above enemy territory. Each screen shows a live feed, while algorithms crunch data in the background, processing countless data points per second to identify potential threats with chilling efficiency. Commanders huddle around these screens, their faces illuminated by the glow of the monitors. The air is thick with a mixture of adrenaline and dread as they watch machine-generated analysis unfold. In this high-tech environment, the decision-making process has fundamentally shifted. A military officer, reflecting on the implications of this shift, might think, how can we hand over the sacred responsibility of life and death to a machine? This internal conflict highlights a profound change in the moral fabric of military engagement. The ethical consequences weigh heavily on those who know that an algorithm's miscalculation could lead to the loss of innocent lives, a reality that hangs over their decisions like a dark cloud. This leads us to a pressing concern. The reliance on machine intelligence can lead to tragic miscalculations. For instance, in 2020, a widely reported incident saw an AI system misidentify a civilian vehicle as a threat due to a flaw in its training data. This oversight resulted in the tragic deaths of multiple civilians, underscoring the dire consequences of automated warfare. When machines are tasked with making critical distinctions, such as determining whether a vehicle is transporting combatants or fleeing civilians, the stakes become unimaginably high. The emotional toll of such incidents weighs heavily on military personnel, who find themselves grappling with the ramifications of decisions made by machines they cannot control. The arms race for autonomous weapons has escalated, as nations like the United States, China, and Russia compete to outpace each other. The U.S. has initiated projects like the X-47B, a drone designed to operate in contested environments without human oversight. Meanwhile, China has developed the WZ-8 reconnaissance drone, capable of transitioning to offensive roles. In a demonstration that sent shockwaves through international forums, the WZ-8 showcased its precision striking capabilities during military exercises in the South China Sea. This public display raised alarms among global military analysts and prompted an urgent call for international regulation. The competitive landscape of autonomous weaponry is dynamic, and the stakes are high. The United States Project Maven, a controversial partnership with Google, highlights this competition. Originally aimed at improving drone footage analysis, the project's implications extend beyond mere surveillance to potentially enabling autonomous engagement of targets. As one observer put it, "Are we prepared for a future where AI systems determine combat outcomes?" This question lingers heavily over policymakers and military leaders alike, creating a climate of uncertainty and urgency in the face of rapid technological advancement. The challenge lies in ensuring that machine decisions align with international humanitarian law. The Geneva Conventions stress the importance of distinction between combatants and non-combatants, a principle that becomes increasingly difficult to uphold when machines operate without human intervention. Training AI to make these distinctions is complicated, as it requires a nuanced understanding of context and intent, qualities that machines currently lack. Critics argue that reducing warfare to algorithmic calculations diminishes the human experience and undermines the moral foundations of military engagement. As deployment timelines for fully autonomous weapons approach, the urgency of the situation becomes apparent. While the U.S. envisions deploying some platforms by the mid-2030s, countries like China are conducting live-fire tests right now, pushing ethical engagement boundaries. The rapid pace of technological innovation raises questions about whether nations have enough time to develop comprehensive regulatory measures. The specter of unchecked autonomous warfare looms large, as each country strives to gain a competitive edge, often at the expense of ethical considerations. The implications of autonomous weapons extend beyond traditional battlefields into domestic realms, where their use in policing raises significant ethical questions about privacy and civil liberties. The potential for surveillance systems to operate autonomously creates an unsettling scenario where accountability may become diluted. A coalition of NGOs advocates for a preemptive ban on these systems, arguing that accountability must remain a human responsibility to safeguard citizens' rights. Their campaigns highlight the need for a societal discourse on the implications of surrendering public safety to autonomous technology. Harmonizing regulations across nations with different military objectives presents a significant challenge. The lack of cohesive frameworks could create dangerous loopholes, permitting autonomous systems to operate without adequate checks, leading to humanitarian crises. The timeline for comprehensive regulations remains uncertain, with United Nations discussions often stalling due to differing national interests and priorities. As nations rush to develop their autonomous capabilities, the temptation to overlook ethical considerations looms large, creating an environment ripe for potential disaster. The rapid pace of technological innovation means that today's solutions may become obsolete quickly. Policymakers must proactively engage with technologists, ethicists, and military experts to develop adaptable frameworks capable of evolving alongside technology. This means creating rigorous oversight mechanisms that can assess AI systems, ensuring they adhere to ethical standards. The continued evolution of these frameworks will be critical in shaping the future of warfare, as the line between human and machine decision-making continues to blur. The rise of autonomous weapons marks a pivotal moment in warfare. As these technologies blur accountability lines, the global community must engage in profound dialogue about their implications. Upholding principles of humanity, distinction, proportionality, and necessity must remain central in military operations. The stakes are high, and decisions made today will shape warfare's future for generations to come.